This is Becoming a Professional Bass Player. My name's Deborah and this is the video journal of my career transition. There's a lot happening today and I'm probably going to make a second video today of all the things that we're doing for, it's mainly concentrating on Divine Funk at the moment because they're about to go live with their first gig at the end of September. It's been a good week. We've got a lot done, and also I'm mindful of how tough it is at times. I don't always share that on here because that's going to make a really negative video, but it's hard to, I'm building something really big here. There's 11 people at least just in the band in Divine Funk, not to mention Simply Mick, Blue Skies, the wedding band, all the people involved in sound engineering, lighting, venues, costume, and shortly we're taking on our first member of staff, more of which later. And sometimes people say to me, this is quite a grand way to go about it. This is quite big, Deborah. Surely there are more modest ways to become a professional bass player. And the answer to that is absolutely there are. For better or worse, I only really do big, I like a big house. I like being in a really big band. I tend to do things on a large scale and really that's just how God made me. It just doesn't kind of, as much as I see that it's more humble or perhaps more admirable to do things on a smaller, more modest scale, it's just not in my bones. And actually, when I try and do that, it doesn't work as well. I can't be anything other than I am, I guess. But it's frightening and sometimes because you're building something on a big scale. And this week, I've really been mindful about the story of Noah, who was, similarly to myself, building this enormous ark, and thinking, I hope it rains, and that's similar to what we're doing here. I'm building this enormous company, this enormous band, this great product, thinking, hope we get some clients. We haven't actually got any paid work yet. There's no, we haven't got to the sales point yet because I'm still creating my marketing materials. And I think that must have been a difficult point for Noah, building and thinking, is it going to rain? Is it going to rain? And really, I think about this company that I am building an ark. It does feel like I'm building an ark of positivity. And in the same way that Noah was building this enormous boat for all the animals, if he was building a boat just for himself, it could have been, a much more modest affair. But this arc of positivity is not just for me, or not even for me, actually. It's for Caroline to showcase her wonderful creativity. It's for Martha to have her first job in marketing and to show everyone her brilliant animation. It's for Mark because it being one of the lead singers makes him shine. It's for Nick, who would like to be a drummer full time. It's for all the people that are involved in the project. It's for me as well, but and I'm building it with them. But it's really for everybody who's going to be on board. And I had a couple of things happen this week that really helped me have confidence. I was speaking to the Lloyds Bank business manager. And at the beginning of the call, he was saying to me, well, what sort of profit do you think you're going to make with Glitterball? And I was like, I absolutely don't know. As long as I pay my musicians, that's really all I'm worried about. And he was a bit like, that's not really a very solid business plan, Deborah. And then he was asking me, his name was Ivan, and a very amiable chap, and he was asking me some good questions about things I'd done in my life and reminding me of large brands that I've managed for Lego or for Disney or for Mattel across Europe. Big movie premieres that I've been part of the key organisation team for. So, High School Musical when that launched in the UK. you know, big projects that I've been on, large budgets that I've managed. And by the end of the phone call, he said, no, you've got bags of skills to do this, Deborah. It's going to be good. We want to help you do this. This is going to be good. And that really filled me with confidence. You know, somebody from the outside who went from being quite skeptical about whether a psychotherapist could do this to really very confident by the end of the phone call. I thought he must speak to quite a lot of people trying to start up a business. And then from a completely different angle, I went to a church committee meeting on Wednesday, voting on things like, mending the church roof, recovering the church chairs, DBS checks, all the rest. And I was praying, as I always am. I was quite quiet when I went there because it'd been a tough week, and I was praying about divine funk. And I sometimes think that the Father, Son and the Holy Spirit, I imagine them up there going, it's Deborah on the phone again. Is it divine funk? You take it today. I spoke to her on Sunday about that. But I was praying again for the rain, for the clients to come in the new year when we need them. And on the walk home from the committee meeting, my dear friend Sharon chose to walk home with me, and she was asking me all about what I'm doing, how it's going. And as I was explaining myself to her and explaining what was happening, I could hear myself, and I thought, this isn't far-fetched. This sounds like a sensible plan. This sounds realistic. This sounds like, it's almost like sort of going round the ark and testing it and going, well, we can't guarantee it, but actually this is a well-built ark. This is a well-built vessel. And, there's a good chance it's going to float and it's going to carry the people it needs to carry. So I'll leave it there because this has become quite a long video. And I'll be back later on today with more of the things that we're doing to make sure that this ark floats, the ark of positivity. Thanks for listening.